Welcome back in. This is the return of Preacher in the Hat. A baby, a new set, cancer took an L. What else happened this summer? We had 8 episodes of Dad Mode, but
someone's wife is in Africa.
Yeah, someone's wife is in Africa. We're going to be talking
The Braves fell apart.
Wow. Yeah, I wasn't going to include that one, but we could talk about it. That's way more than one episode. We're going to be talking fresh starts tonight. But before that, my name is Derek. Across from me on the new set is my brother Eric. As always, behind the cameras and once again back on a hot mic is our man Chris Sumter.
Well,
and the preacher himself is back in the chair tonight.
Yes, sir!
Preacher.
Yeah!
Ready for service, sir.
The Preacher in the Hat returns to Preacher in the Hat. Steve is back. Just as we promised at the end of Dad Mode, the boys are back in town. The band's back together. Whatever cliche you want to use.
Brand new set, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Feels refreshing.
It feels roomier in here. One of the funny things is whenever people have come to visit us in set, they always talk about, man, I really thought this room was bigger. And it is indeed an actually pretty small space, compared to how it looks. But what we've done here is we have maximized the space.
I think so too.
And Chris is now facing us, making his job tremendously easier. He can look out over us, over his domain.
It shouldn't have taken us 60 episodes to get that set up for you.
But it did.
We apologize.
And here we are.
It does give him more control too. Like with his eyes, he can. And he has more face-to-face
we can get him in
contact.
on the conversation without him having to turn back around to change cameras and all that stuff.
What say you, Mr. Sumter? You like the new arrangement so far?
I love it.
Good. Beautiful.
So, like I said, we're going to talk, in all of that, everything that we just mentioned, we're going to talk fresh start. We're going to talk the reset. That can mean a bunch of different things. And one of the things right now, a fresh start that is happening particularly for Eric and I, school starts back. Not for us, but we've got, we've got kids going in for that. And I, that's one of the, I feel like this time of year, you kind of always get a little bit of conversation like that because it is such a great example for that sort of thing. But, so yeah, school starting. Dad, we should talk a little bit about probably what, you got a little bit of a fresh start here.
Yeah.
So
I did.
And go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, as it relates to school starting. So while we're recording this, we're a couple days away from, our 2 sons going to kindergarten for the first time. I was telling my wife as we were walking up to a parent night earlier this evening, I was like, I've kind of been coming to terms with the fact that since our son was our other son, our second son, our third child was just born in June, I said I was I'm kind of coming to terms now with the fact that for the next 18 years of our lives, is going to be run by the school schedule once again. It's like you spend your whole childhood, you finally get out of that, you graduate college, you're like, I'm free, it's gone.
Do anything I want to anytime in the year, right?
Yeah, and now we're starting it with this fall with kindergarten for our first, and with our son just being born, 18 years from now, he'll still be in school. So for the next 18 years, we're controlled by the school calendar. So I'm coming to terms with that. I don't know if that's necessarily a fresh start, but it's certainly new. So got overwhelmed at parent night this evening with all the details, and so got to make sure I download Parent Square, my school fees, my school bucks, Power School. I don't know. It's like,
I don't even know if I want to know what all that is. Wow. How about that?
I don't know if I could exactly tell you.
Does it have a notification on each one of them or not?
They got great ways of tracking stuff these days.
Yeah. It is. All of that is all making stuff easier. Nice. So, one of those is basically just an online way to give your kid lunch money. So no longer having to remember to, hand them cash or, whatever it is. You can just automatically put it in their account. That's great. It's stuff like that. But it was just kind of funny.
Just drinking out of a fire hose a little bit.
That might be better for the parent, but think about it. Didn't you like just having that little money in your hand and you could walk in there and do that though when you were a kid? That was kind of cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, but my son's in kindergarten and
it might be a little bit of a
this
logistics
is a little
nightmare.
bit better way to make sure that the money gets there. And also I believe you can tell, I think maybe you can schedule what they get for from the, I'm not totally sure if that's true or not. They at least
list the options online.
Yeah. I'm not totally sure how that works, but I think it's a better system.
Oh, so cool.
All right, so let's talk fresh starts. Specifically for you, Dad, Steve, whatever people know you as, preacher. What does it, when somebody uses a word reset, fresh start, something along those lines?
I actually kind of used that word. I kind of used that word a little bit earlier this year when. On April the 30th, I had a CAT scan of something they've been watching on one of my lungs. And May 13th, I had a biopsy. Found out I had a non-small cell carcinoma. And we'll talk more in detail about that in a later episode. But May the 29th, I was meeting a surgeon. And June the 16th, I had surgery. And I am now 7 weeks out from that surgery as of yesterday. And if I remember correctly, your son was born 7 weeks from today. Well, did he not born on Tuesday?
Dad was, yes, he was born on Tuesday. So when I went to visit Dad in the hospital, right after his surgery was done, my wife was actively laboring at home.
Yeah.
Basically. So now...
Poor timing on Papa's part, actually, in terms of the surgery.
We haven't talked to you about that yet, but
it also sounds crazy.
I tried to talk about it to myself.
It also sounds crazy. Everybody's gonna be like, "What in the world? Why were you, why were you away from your wife laboring?"
Yeah.
And so, but it was a long process, and so we were pretty comfortable with where her labor was at.
I was pleased you were there, but surprised you were there, and certainly did not expect you to be there, but was grateful to have you there. And when I could wave at you on the way out, anyhow, surgery.
So I hustled back home, and it was like 1 a.m. the following night where we ended up making the trip.
So Derek was there before surgery, and then Eric was there after surgery.
For a brief moment.
Yeah. So anyhow, wow, no symptoms, no anything. And so what I would say is I did not go in trouble symptomatically, but boy, I came out with some symptoms because of the surgery. But no need to go through the details so much, except to say I've never experienced any, well, maybe kidney stones, but I've never experienced any more pain than when a 6 or 7 inch incision is done in your back and they go through your ribs or go between your ribs to go back and take 20% of your lung out. It happened pretty fast, and so I'm still processing a little bit about that, but 20% of my left lobe was taken out, my upper left lobe, and I'm doing well. I'm on track to recover and have been recovering, and I'm grateful for that with no complications other than the normal complications from a surgery like that. So to put it bluntly, maybe one of our pastors, Thomas Burke, said the other day when we was talking about it, he said, well, the truth is you went to the hospital and they just shanked you. And, I thought, you know what? I think he's a little bit right, actually. But anyhow, I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be back, and I'm easing back in. Still waiting on the stamina a little bit. But here I'd like to say, here's a little relic from there. If Mr. Producer, can we see it?
This is going to be This is going to be really special for the folks who are only listening on audio.
Yeah, I know. So while I'm holding up now a pillow with the face of one Barney Fife from Andy Griffith's show, and on it says "Nip It." nip it in the bud. Now, even if you're listening to this, you may have watched the Andy Griffith Show at some point, and you may know that nip it in the bud is something he would say at times like that. So actually, right prior to that, what are we laughing about here? Help me out.
That's exactly what I caught. Your lowercase e in the is capitalized.
Oh, it is. My lowercase v is capitalized.
I couldn't believe.
Oh, that's
you
pretty
thought of the
cool,
same
man.
thing.
That is pretty cool, man. And,
don't know how I didn't
see,
notice till
really
now.
what we have here is a classic example of missing the main point. And that's what they've done. They've missed the main point, and now they're looking at the spelling on my pillow. I'm still proud of my
To our
pillow. I don't
Spotify
care
and
how.
Apple Podcast
It's like when you
listeners.
start-
How about this side? Do you like this side better? Is that better? Is that better?
Hey,
It's the
Is that
same.
better?
Steve,
huh?
it's like when you start
Yeah.
laughing in church for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons. That's exactly right. Say amen. Say amen when the preacher just says, some of y'all going to hell. Amen. Not the time to say that. But anyhow, my children, some of my children, I know it was neither of you clearly, bought this pillow for me
Bingo.
because I said, we're going to be nipping it in the bud. And guess what we did? We nipped the cancer in the bud. My doctor says I'm lung cancer free. That's good enough for me. I love my pillow because it helps support my left side cavity and keeps it from being near as tired, my arms and my so it's very helpful.
So there was and for anyone who's not aware, there was an Andy Griffith Show episode, basically centered around the phrase "nip it in the bud." That's what.
correct.
So that's why.
So what? So in the reset, we nipped the cancer in the bud. I had cancer, and according to my doctor, I'm now cancer free. How about nipping it in the bud? How about reset?
Sir.
How about a reset? That's a pretty good reset for me.
Don't try.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty good reset.
You're not
for me.
Don Knotts.
So there you have it.
We really got to do something.
That's the
about
short
that E.
version. You'll get the long version.
Oh,
maybe
yeah, we'll
another
do long
episode or two.
version. We got a couple stories of transformation coming up.
Well, and there are some things that were transforming for me in the whole process. So we will talk about those.
Yeah.
Yes. And transforming in different kind of ways.
Let's see, more fresh starts. We got a couple new haircuts on
Oh,
set.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Eric.
More,
And now
just
Derek.
more special stuff for our audio only
Yeah.
listeners.
That's right.
who have now clicked off.
Who, if you're still listening, God bless you.
Maybe maybe it will drive you. Your curiosity will drive you to the YouTube channel. How about that? There you go.
Hey, there you go.
That was not intentional. We're not
That's
trying
correct.
to actively.
That's correct. That's correct.
actively
It was not intentional. Inadvertently.
Eric, what comes to your mind when we thinking fresh starts?
Well, that one's
A
easy.
reset.
That one's easy this summer. I don't know I guess there is some reset involved. So, my wife and I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, the day after Dad's lung surgery, my wife gave birth to our third. So, another boy. So we went boy, girl, boy. And it has been a reset of sorts in the sense that, so our 5-year-old and 3-year-old our 5-year-old especially, he is relatively self-sufficient. Now, not in all matters, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you can say, hey, buddy, time to get ready for bed. So everything that includes getting in pajamas, brushing teeth, going to the bathroom, all that, he just walks off and does it. Okay, so that kind of thing makes things a little bit easier. But that also means we're kind of more in that stage of life. So our 3-year-old daughter, she's learned from him. She can do a lot of the same thing. Sometimes maybe needs a little help brushing her teeth. Other than that, that's it. They both are, been out of diapers, of course, for a while now. And sleeping through the night since our daughter Sadie was like 4 months old. So over 2.5 years they've been sleeping through the night. And here we go again, dialing back the clock. We don't sleep through the night anymore, and we change 1 million diapers every day. So it was interesting kind of going back into that. That was the part. It's like, that was the thing that you were thinking about the most. It's like, oh man, the kids we already have, they sleep through the night and they go to the bathroom themselves, and now we're starting all over. Got a couple more years of diapers. Hopefully not a couple years of sleepless nights, but
You know what causes
Yeah.
that, right?
causes what?
You said we had 2 kids. They were grown. And now we got a baby. I said, you know what causes that, don't you? Stay with me, youngins. Stay with me, youngins.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
Moving right along.
So yeah, it's been great. He's a awesome baby. Eats well, sleeps pretty good. So
Is it worthwhile talking about his name?
can't really complain.
Not only his first name, and introduce us to his name. Give us his full name.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah. I mean, his name's Judah. I don't know. I try not to. I guess I did just say Sadie's name. So a little.
You don't want to bring the family into the fame.
Oh no, it's, I guess just keep a little private. I don't know. I mean, people can find me on Facebook and see the kids' names, I guess. But
We like to be private celebrities around here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's more just private celebrity.
yeah, so that's been a reset if there ever was one. So, but it's been good. We can't complain. We did have our first ever trip to a children's emergency room. So we've been parents for 5.5 years, and so we can't really complain that it took that long to get to an emergency room. But he woke up one night, or through the night, my wife kind of realized he was starting to feel a little warm, the baby, and that's not good. So you immediately got to go to the pediatrician, and if it's above a certain temperature, which is I think is 101, the pediatrician they basically have to send you to the ER. And sure enough, 101 something on the temp. And so off we went to the ER for all kinds of tests, and they tell you we'll do all of this. Then we have to draw blood, and depending on what happens after that, you might have to do a spinal tap, which I don't even really know exactly what all that means, but it sounds terrible for a 1-month-old to go through. And then, then they're talking about what all else they might have to test for after that. And it's like a whole bunch of just, horrific stuff that you don't want to hear about. He had a cold. So, that was great. And it was a short visit at the ER. But I did learn that I am not really built for that, because I guess no one is. But yeah, being in the ER with a newborn baby is just like a pretty helpless feeling. But we have an incredible children's hospital here in Birmingham,
Yeah.
and they took great care of him. They made drawing blood from a 1-month-old baby seem like nothing.
No big deal.
Yeah, it was just wild how great a care they took of him. And we were in and out in like 3 hours, and they pumped him full of Tylenol and told us we could do the same when we got home. So, and he was pretty much good to go. But it was just one of those things where you got an infant baby, they're not supposed to have a fever, so you have to take them to the pediatrician. The pediatrician reads a number, and if it's too high, they got to send you to the ER. And it's just everything happened where we had to do that. But we're grateful that it was just a cold. So been a summer. It's been a summer. So
Yeah. But what I like though, or particularly about one of the things, what y'all were both saying is like, we were talking about fresh starts and, or, a reset or whatever. And essentially it was just like a recap of y'all's summer where, that's been kind of like the fresh start, but that's good though. Like,
Yeah.
like it just kind of, it kind of shows you what, like, we did some different stuff in the podcast and whatever, but like God's been at work off of the way
off the air.
and that's been cool. Yeah. Like I was chasing down, like I had really beginning of it actually started the first time we filmed Dad Mode. I've been chasing down a reason for I had some abdominal tightness, and trying to figure all that out. And so I spent the whole summer like trying to figure out what that was, getting, some scans and whatnot.
It was muscular.
Yeah. There, or something. I don't know. But one of the things I felt like it was something that God was doing in me to kind of reframe how I approached that sort of thing, because I've always been very much in my young age avoiding things like that. Didn't really spend much time in a doctor's office doing anything like that. And as kids came into the picture and they start to get older, you start to think like, man, I really should just be taking care of myself, make sure that I'm around for my kids and all that. And it has helped me reshape that thinking, where I was very much avoid a doctor's office at all costs, to the point now where I was the one, as we were going through, like asking for the next thing from, what I'm saying? Like I found myself, they were like, well, this scan was clear, and I'd be like, okay, well, like, is there anything else that we could do just to kind of like check it out? And I stopped back, after that, and I was like, man, did I really just ask for that? And, but like it's helped me, take more initiative on that sort of thing.
One thing I was thinking about when you were just talking, Derek, excuse me, Eric, one of the things that I was thinking about was the Bible verse that said, his mercies are new every morning. So in some sense, as we go through life and we describe our summers, or we describe our fall, or we describe a week or a month or whatever, in a sense, there's almost like every day is a reset to some degree. And I'm not trying to throw this into some deep theological truth, but it just dawned on me when you were saying about that, is it's a recap of normal life. And normal life is really about reset almost every day.
Yep. And every day is an opportunity to, kind of to choose, and you have a bunch of different choices.
That's right. That's right.
There's also a little bit of, and you being willing to go through some testing just to, to be sure of stuff. There's also some victory in that too, because there's like to me, for young dads, there's like no lower hanging fruit for the enemy than against a young dad than basically making him scared and afraid that he's going to die.
Yeah. Convincing you that you're not going to be around.
And that you're going to leave your kids helpless.
Yep.
My story's clear about that.
Yeah, it's super low hanging fruit.
I've been through it as well.
It's
I
super.
know, but I'm just saying, I agree with you 100%.
That's what I mean. Like it's
And one of the reasons that I actually chased down a couple of those scans, I was praying about it one day, and I was like, God, like this is something that you could just easily take away, like it could be gone. And he was like, and I felt like hearing him say after that, it was like, something to the effect of like, then the lie will just change. So like then, as in like, if he just took it away right then the lie would become, well, now just because it's gone, just because you're not feeling like that anymore, it doesn't mean there's not, something spreading inside you. And I was like, do I really have to go through like all of these things to clear the air, to clear the, and he was like, I didn't hear this specifically, but just sometimes in our imperfect human nature, the freedom a lot of times is in so much like proof of what you see. But then he's there in that to say, not I told you so or anything like that, but like God uses some of that stuff to help us with the freedom from some of that fear, things, because he knows that we're susceptible to that low hanging fruit, the lies that that the devil sees and says like, man, I can plant this right here. And so some of that, one of the most surefire ways to knock that out is for us to have something right in front of us that says you're cancer free. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, the surgery worked, Steve, you're cancer free. And I'm not saying God definitely heals without doing all that stuff. But there's sometimes when we're fighting, like, particularly when we're struggling with a particular lie that we just like kind of have kept believing over and over again, he's going to sometimes use some of those things to really pound home the freedom, I feel like.
And on the episode when we talk about the transformation stories regarding my experience, which I think we're going to do it in the next few weeks, but one of the mantras that I had from the very beginning is I would say to the doctor, you do aggressive medical and natural intervention, and we will do aggressive supernatural intervention. And I'm going to be glad to talk a little bit about how I saw those two interacting with each other through the whole thing. And that's what I think about scans. That's what I think about going to doctors. It's not because I don't have faith that I go to doctors. You know, some Christians kind of act like that. That's not what it means. It means I go, and so if there's something there, then we'll know to pray about it. You know, we'll know what to do. We'll have to face reality. Healing does not come because I avoid reality.
Right.
And that's a very important part. I was stage 1, for example. Not too many people these days have stage 1, but the reason is because I got scans. And inadvertently, they found something on a scan a year ago and watched it, and we kept watching it. And finally, when my doctor said, let's take a look at it and get it done, let's see if it's cancer or not. So we went and did a biopsy. I was glad to do that. I wanted, let's find out. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Now we know what we're dealing with, and then we can nip it in the bud. Hey, all right.
But I think you mentioned something, Derek, about... Or Dad, sorry, you mentioned about how a lot of times as Christians we'll think that basically sometimes going to the doctor shows a lack of faith.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, to me, it would be ridiculous to say that, like, why wouldn't God use a clean scan as a way to defeat a lie that the enemy has told you? You know, I mean... So it's really cool. 4 weeks after surgery, I'm with my doctor, and he takes a chest X-ray, and he says, "Your chest X-ray looks so good. It looks to me like you didn't even have surgery." Well, he knew he did it because he's the one who did it. But my point is, that was really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. I saw the hand of God through the doctor, through the nurses, but also I think supernaturally in the middle of all that. I think about that with birth all the time. There's so many things that could go wrong with birth. You know, so many things that could go wrong in the middle of that kind of stuff, but they don't. So many times they don't. You know, and it's really cool to see the hand of God in the middle of that, even though this possibly could have happened. I've often wondered how many times have we been healed and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How many times have we been sick and don't know it? You know what I'm saying? How many times has that happened? How many times have I been saved from an accident and don't know it? So that's what it means when your mercies are new every morning, is I think in heaven one day we're going to find out how many things we actually avoided or God helped us avoid.
Just how much his mercy's hanging around.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I think we're going to be surprised, honestly.
Not even seeing, man. This is a good conversation about a reset. You know, like we're talking about it, it's a little bit of a reset for us for the podcast, but we're going to jump back in like we never left. And we didn't really, because dad mode was still happening.
That's
it
right.
Does look a little bit, different behind us, but, we're still in the same room, and we're still going to be talking about the same stories of transformation. We're going to be talking about the same God and his same mercy, his same anything we
It's
can.
same everything.
Yeah. We have a guest lined up for a story of transformation in this next episode. I'm not going to say his name because we've been trying to do this for the first 60 episodes or whatever we have trying to get this guy. So if you're out there listening and we haven't recorded yet, get to the studio and let's get this done. Hopefully next episode we are introducing him and talking about his story. That one hopefully is, maybe even multiple episodes.
Well, I will be assisting the host, the two of you as host and Mr. Producer, by making several phone calls this week. One probably tomorrow, then probably one on the weekend,
we're gonna keep it.
and then probably one Monday night. And then I might even do one Tuesday at lunch.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be good.
Driving it home doesn't hurt. Any closing thoughts from you fellas here on this?
Well, it's good to be back. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad
Yeah.
to be back, and glad to be back and feel healthy enough to do it.
So we had a blast, Derek and I especially. I was able to get Dad on there just before we recorded a Dad Mode episode just before his surgery, and so we were able to get him on in for that. But I know Derek, you and I, we had a blast with that series, and did things a little differently. But I'm excited to get back, and I've been, for some reason, don't know why, I've been pumped all day to get back to my original sign off. So for Derek and Steve, Chris behind the cameras, my name's Eric. This has been Preacher in the Hat. See you next time.